So my question to you is that a problem we have here, that even the facts aren't going to clear this case?
It might be, but Chris, it's my understanding that some of the jurors, up to 4 of them, are familiar with, quote unquote, guns, it has been reported. And as a result, I believe that the fact that he left the car in light of something suspicious, for me, is telling. Now, again, ethically, because I'm a member of the bar and it's a case in front of a court that I practice in front of periodically, I'm not going to sit here and make a prediction or do anything unethical on the Chris Matthews show. But I can say, as a concealed weapons holder, when you see trouble, you report it and you walk away and you stay within your safe zones. That's how we are trained. That's how we think.
But Joseph Haynes Davis, I watched that and I said to myself, if and when George Zimmerman writes his book, the story I expect to hear is that he wanted to take the stand and his lawyers didn't want him to do so, and we just saw a representation of that. How did you read that moment?
Well, I read the moment, Counselor, and thank you for having me, as Judge Nelson saying, look, this is my courtroom, and pardon me for using some vernacular, I'm not playing with you. I mean, she's in charge of the courtroom. I've practiced in front of Judge Nelson periodically a couple of times. She's a very, very good judge. She's a very, very honorable judge. And she's a very, very smart judge in terms of knowing where she wants to go and how she wants to conduct that courtroom.
Is race really the elephant in the room in the way that people perceive this young woman?
Well, race is indeed immutable, but we don't know what's going on in the jury's mind. Again, we are not psychologists, psychiatrists, and so forth. And to not give credit to folks who are sworn to carry out their duties as jurors, I sometimes have a problem with that, because I still believe in the individual citizen of this country to do their sworn duty, to look at the evidence solely, what is admitted solely, and that is it.
Now on Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Local lives here.
All righty. Thank you so much. Joseph Haynes Davis here with you at Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. One of the hot topics, still hot, I mean still hot, is the post-George Zimmerman trial matter and, of course, Amendment number 2 of the United States Constitution. Yes, gun rights. We also have Annette from West Virginia on the Second Amendment. Annette, good evening, and thank you for joining us this evening.
Well, hello there. I read the Second Amendment many times. It says we have a right to keep and bear arms. It does not limit us as to how we keep, when we keep, or where we keep those arms.
Let me ask you, ma'am, quickly, are you are a concealed weapons holder in the state of West Virginia?
I'm sorry. That's personal information. I'm talking about the law.
I understand that. I was just asking a question, ma'am.
Well, I'm sorry. I don't choose to give that information.
Okay. Well, let me just suggest this, ma'am. Just like Mr. Zimmerman, I am a concealed weapons holder here in the state of Florida, and based upon my training, how I learned, and in particular, if you are a neighborhood watch volunteer and you make the call to the non-emergency line and you're reporting the description of the so-called suspicious activity, you, in my opinion, you don't have to leave the car. Now, was it legal for him to leave the car? Yes. Meaning he certainly did, and it was within his rights. But how I was trained here in the state of Florida on this matter, you don't avail yourself to suspicious activities because you are not deputized. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Again, I'm Joseph Haynes Davis, and thank you for joining me.